Good morning, team. Good morning. Welcome to this week's altcoin update. As usual, remember, nothing discussed today is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, and it's for educational purposes only. Now that's out of the way, judging by the feedback from last week's videos, you guys like the short and sweet format, so we're going to keep it short and sweet and to the point, and I'll talk about what I'm looking at. And this week, we're going to be taking a look at XEM. But before we get into that, let's have a look at what we were discussing last week. Last week, we were looking at Uniswap and SHIB. And last week was Tuesday when we released the video, which price was up here on the Tuesday. We just had a rejection off the range highs, coming back down. We came back in, value area high, nice reaction there initially, and then ultimately we've broken back into value. So is this a place I'd be looking for a long? Well, no, I wouldn't be looking for a long in this region right here, because we're kind of in no man's land, because we've got the EQ down here, we've got the value area high just above us, which is to be classed as resistance. So realistically, what I'd either be looking for is price to either A, roll over, come back down into this EQ / point of control. If you do come down there and you get a change of market structure, then you've potentially got a long trigger there. If you get no reaction down here, then ultimately I'd just be letting it drop down towards the value area low. Or ultimately, the overall macro point of control range lows. If it does get a pump from here, gets it outside of value area high, then ultimately I'll probably be looking at another stab to take out these macro highs. Okay, so very simple, level to level range behavior. SHIB, very similar position, like most of the market. Last week we were talking here, and since then we've had acceptance back into value, and we've come down, we've had a lovely reaction off the point of control. Nice bounce off that. See that? What's that coming in? That's it's a nice, just shy of 10% bounce. Decent trade if you caught that. Well done. If you did pay yourself. So now here again, I'm not really looking for a trade in this region here. Come back down here and potentially sweep these lows, get a change of market structure. Then I may be interested in a long. If not, then I'd be quite happy just to let that drop to at least this value area low region here. Above that, once again, I'm not interested in longs here because you've got the value area high just above. But if you do manage to clear that and get above all this, then again, I'm going to be targeting back at the range highs ultimately. Okay, so that's a quick recap from last week. I'll try to leave a link at the end of the video if I remember. And time to get into XEM because it's had a big pump. Before we get into XEM, quick word from today's video sponsor. Surprise, surprise, it's Prime XBT. If you don't know who Prime XBT are, then you've been living under a rock. Prime are a platform where you can not only trade crypto, but you can trade FX, commodities, and stock indices. And the beauty of these guys is you can use crypto as your collateral. So you can trade Forex pairs against crypto, and you can do commodities and stocks. So this is the platform that I personally use for FX trading and stock trading. So obviously if you guys want to come trade with me on here, then the links are down in the description, and if you use our codes, you can get up to a $7,000 deposit bonus, and if you use the second code as well, then you can get 25% off trading fees, which isn't a bad deal. So thanks once again to Prime for sponsoring today's video. Right, here we go, let's jump into it. XEM. Well, quick looking at this, obviously this is quite an old coin. This chart goes back to 2019, but if memory serves, this goes back a hell of a lot longer than that. First and foremost, let's draw on a quick volume profile and we can see where we are, and we're hovering around the macro point of control. Let's just drag this on one more so we can see it better. There we go. And let's zoom in. So we've come in quite clearly, come down, we've hovered around the macro point of control, lost it, come back tested it, hovered around, and again been bashing up against it time and time again. Again, the more times you hit a level, the weaker it gets, typically speaking. Finally broke through it, back tested it, and we've had a significant pump yesterday to the upside of 68%. So if you did get in that, well bloody done, and time to pay yourself. So let's have a look at what's going on. So let's it's like the rest of the market does look like a nice range going on here. So let's throw that out of the way. And as we can see here, we've got a range. We've come in, we've created the low, we've created the high, back to the EQ, deviated the high, grabbed the liquidity, and then ultimately come back down to the lows. Deviation to the outer range of the range fib, the first standard deviation of it, come back in, which lines up nicely with the macro value area low. Tested it a few times, again another swing failure pattern of that. And that's how we've got the pump. So if you were in a long here and you've not paid yourself up at these highs, then I'm going to ask you why not. Are you a bit of a fool? You know, this is just range trading 101. You're long the lows and you short the highs. And if you are long in the lows, then you are taking profits at the EQ and you're taking profits at the highs. Okay? If you guys want to learn how we trade like this, then come over to the website, you know, spitfiretraders.com, links down in the description. Come down here. First and foremost, join our traders Discord. Free Discord here. Over 1,000 members, just all sharing loads of different forms of TA, including me and some of the members. And obviously, if then you do want to take your trading to the next level, then come check out our technical analysis course, where you get access to over 80 hours of educational content from absolute beginners through to advanced trader. Everything from footprint charts and order flow, Elliott wave theory, you know, how to manage your head, various altcoin strategies now, which the guys in the group are absolutely smashing, which I'm loving to see. But yeah, you know, if you do want to come join this, then come check it out, because for the grand old price of 60 quid, it's not really going to cost you that much. You make that back in one trade. And that'll do. Right, so back to it. That's how you trade the range. So what happens now? Well, first and foremost, we're coming back with hovering around the EQ again. Now, this is a big question now. Does this hold or not? If this holds and you get this change in structure here, then you've potentially got a long opportunity. And then once again, because of how this is looking, this is on the daily chart, you've got no real resistance here. This is a very thin move up and a very thin move back down. So you could be looking back up towards here. If, however, you get no reaction, continue dropping, then ultimately I'd be looking to fill this previous candle all the way back in. And sad to say it, but it could come all the way down to the point of control. So once again, if you did long this and you've not taken profits there, you've got to ask yourself why. Because there's nothing worse than entering an awesome long and then riding it all the way back to your entry. Okay? It's not the time to get greedy. I mean, look at this chart. It's shit. It's shit. It just goes sideways, gets one blow off pump with the rest of the market in the bull market, and then again it just goes sideways again. So yeah, we could be looking at an accumulation range here. But if you're a smart trader, then you've got an awesome range to be trading here. This range, just from the inside part of the range, it's an 85% range. You know, if you are long in the highs and short in long in the lows, even, don't do it the other way around, long in the lows and short in the highs, and you can make some good money on this. But bear in mind, obviously before this it's been quite liquid. So obviously it's only the volume that's come into the market recently. So obviously take that into account, especially if you're trading with size. So that'll be how I'll be looking at this. Either hold the EQ, potentially get another move back up to the range highs. And if it comes back up to the range highs, I'll be looking to take out the liquidity, because you've got liquidity all the way along here now. People stop losses. Or if it doesn't hold at the EQ, then ultimately I'll be looking for it to come back down and probably fill in that previous candle. Okay, back towards the macro point of control / range lows, and you'll be hoping for that to hold if you are bullish. Okay, that'll do. Right, if you like today's video and you like this shorter format, then hit the likes and let us know down in the comments, and also let us know down in the comments what coin you want covering next week. And until next time, gang, as you were.